All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, as you can see on the screen here, we're going to be checking out some Blurple Kaido action in today's video. So that should be a lot of fun. It's probably going to be pretty interesting, okay? You're in for a wild ride today, so make sure you buckle up, fasten your seatbelts, because it's going to be a wild ride. Now, let's go ahead and dive straight into the video, because we do have quite a bit to go over. I'm going to break it down and tell you what we're getting into. First things first, we're going to be heading over to the VV lab. We're going to check out a game of Blue-Black Rebecca versus Green Uta, Film Uta. Okay, that should be a lot of fun. Then we're going to head over to discuss the topic of the day, which is going to be talking about hypergeometric calculators, okay? Hypergeometric calculations. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to have some fun with that. Then we're going to head over to the sim, and we've got 3 games lined up of me playing this leader on the sim, Blurple Kaido. And then we'll finish up with the deck list, and we'll wrap everything up in that way. We'll talk about it. I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this leader. Okay. You know what you're getting into now? I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description. I'll have all relevant, deck lists and links down in the comment section below. And yeah, let's do this, guys. All right. First things first. Let me move the leader screen. There we go. We have a game of Green Uta versus Blue-Black Rebecca. Now, this is the VV Lab. For any of the new players, you might be wondering, what on earth is the VV Lab? It basically works as a free miniature coaching session where these are community-submitted games. I'm not playing these. I have no idea how they're going to go. I basically blind react to them, and it works as like a free coaching session, a miniature coaching session, where I kind of just give my analysis of the board state and of plays. We talk about optimal versus suboptimal plays and things like that. If you're a newer player and you're interested in me reviewing one of your games, it is completely free, like I said. Okay, all you have to do is record your game, upload it to YouTube, and then hop on the VV Theory Discord. The link is in the channel description. Hop on the VV Theory Discord and put your game on there under a channel called Review My Game. Okay, there's a channel called Review My Game. You post the link in there to your game. I give you the thumbs up emoji as soon as I see it, and you get thrown in line. And whenever it's your turn, you're up. So very, very easy to set up, guys. So yeah. Okay, if you have any questions on that, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section below. Now, let's hop into this game. We got the volume off. We got the speed on 2x and the quality's up. And here we go, guys. So, excuse me. These are actually 2 decks that I really enjoyed playing. I was really, when Rebecca first came out in OP04, I was all in. I was all on board the Blue-Black Rebecca train. But unfortunately back then it just wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. Especially, let me pause for a second, when we got Rebecca over here in the West, the entire meta had been figured out. So Blue-Black Rebecca did pretty well in the East when it came out there first, because it was a fresh new meta. People weren't exactly sure how it would go. And I think Rebecca won like 2 tournaments over in the East. As soon as it made it over to the West, the meta had already been figured out, like I said, so Rebecca did not do so well. I think it might have won 1 tournament in the West, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean like major tournament. We're not talking about locals. So anyway, I was really, really happy about Rebecca when it first came out, but I was very sad that it didn't pan out so well for us over here in the West, the way that it, it just didn't work out so well. So then Green Uta down here on the bottom, I'm a big fan of this deck as well, because this is one of those starter deck friendly, it just comes right out of the starter deck and it's ready to go. And it's just a very strong, on-tempo, mid-range, curve out deck. And it's very, very solid. Now, it looks like let me go back real quick because we did miss something. Okay, so the Uta player won the dice roll and they chose to go first. So let's go back a little bit here. And they go turn 1 pass. They had no turn 1 play. Turn 1 for Rebecca, they're going to use their 2 Dawn to use their leader effect and a 1-cost Rebecca. So they have gone through 5 cards in their deck already on turn 1, and they were able to draw a Rebecca and a Corrida Coliseum. Very strong start for the Blue-Black Rebecca player. Now, I will say this as well. I actually think it's a little bit better to go second with Green Uta, believe it or not. I would actually rather go second with Uta, because all right, turn 1 just passed like we already did, right? We had a feeling that, turn 1 there's not a lot to play for Green Uta, but turn 2 we can actually play out our 3-cost Nami that we have in hand to do a top 3 search, or if we don't, we can just swing with our leader like usual. But let's see what happens here. Going to swing for 5. Looks like we're going to develop the Nami for the turn here. So swing 5, they give us a 1K counter. Well, that was a scary counter for them to give us. Pause. They just gave us a Charlotte Pudding. They just gave us knowledge. They just gave us information that they are playing Pudding in their deck. Notice, I don't know if that changed the plan or not to go with Katakuri, but I do like that call there to change over to Katakuri instead of playing out the Nami. Unless that was just what you were going to do to begin with. Either way, that's a very good play in this situation. Okay, for those who are wondering, let me pause. Look at the screen real quick, guys. This is what the card does. Pudding is a 4-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter character. On play, your opponent returns all of their hand cards to their deck and shuffle their deck. Then your opponent draws 5 cards. So let me explain that very basically. If I have 10 cards in my hand and they play Pudding, I shuffle all 10 of those cards into my deck, and then I just draw 5 random cards. It is an extremely powerful card, and in Green Film Uta, we draw a lot of cards. So that is something we need to play around for the rest of the game. Okay, here we go. They're going to play out a Kobe. Okay, very interesting. Not many, I don't think many decks are running Kobe for Blue-Black Rebecca, but they were able to snipe our Katakuri. Seems good for them. We're going to swing for 6 with a leader, drawing a card, play out this. Nice. Playing out the Brook to play out the Nami, dropping us back down to 5 cards in hand. That was very well played. Playing around the Rebecca the entire time. Excellent. Or not the Rebecca, well, the Rebecca player, but playing around the Pudding. Okay, they're going to one-legged toy soldier -3. They're probably going to drop a Kairos here from the Rebecca. Yep, very standard play for Rebecca. Very solid. That was well played by them as well. Their board is starting to get wide, but these are not very intimidating threats, right? Like, these are not very scary cards. A 4-cost 0-power card can't do anything. It's just a blocker. A 3-cost 5K is annoying. It doesn't go anywhere because it can prevent KO, but it's still not really that scary. We'll swing 5. We'll swing 5. I like that. They give us a blocker early on. Okay, very good. Going to play out the Luffy and the 4-cost 6K Uta. Really good job there. So let me explain something to the newer players real quick. Why did he swing for 5 and swing for 5 first? Generally speaking, you want to give your opponent as little information as possible. So this person determined they have a 7 Dawn turn, and they have a 7 Dawn play they're going to use. So they decided, okay, I'm going to swing for 5, because I can't use the extra Dawn on them for my turn, and then see what my opponent does. Then they're going to go ahead and play out the Luffy into Uta, down to 4 cards in hand. So we are completely playing around the card we talked about earlier. We're completely playing around Pudding. On top of that, next turn will be a 9 Dawn turn for us. Look at our 2 options. Guys, look at the options we have in our hand right now for 9 Dawn. Seems good, right? We have 2 incredible options. One in Shanks, if they play out like a say they play out the 7-cost Luffy here with the stage, because they have 8 Dawn, so they could go play out Corda Coliseum, play out the 7-cost Luffy, and start attacking into our board. Well, if they leave it tapped, if they leave it rested, we will pop it with Shanks. If they make a more passive play, if they try to play out something smaller, we get to drop 9-cost Zoro on them, and that is going to be ugly for our opponent. And we have 2 blockers on the board now. Okay, so let's see what they do. They're going to swing for 5. We know they have a Corda Coliseum. Okay, they play out a Gecko Mori, so that was a much more passive play. Let's see what they grab back with the Rebecca. I think they need to there we go. I was going to say they need to replace the Rebecca on board with a new one from the trash. Wow, they did that was an absolute whiff with the 1-cost Rebecca search there. It added no cards to hand, and then they're going to grab Hina from trash with the Rebecca, choosing to not play out anything. Interesting. In this situation here, I'm dropping the 9-cost Zoro 9 times out of 10. Okay, absolutely. That was the perfect play there. Very cool. So very cool interaction. They were able to trash a film card from their hand with the 4-cost 6K Uta's effect to attach a rested Dawn card to a character or leader. They attach it to their Uta. I think you can give it to a character or leader. But anyway, they attach it to their leader. Swing for 6. They get to draw a card from that. And their board is looking very menacing right now. Very, very nice play here by the Uta player. Okay. And now they're determining if they want to swing for 5. I agree, yeah. I don't know if we needed to swing for 5 at the Rebecca. But at the same time, I don't think it was a bad play either. So right here, so we swung 6 into the Kairos. Interesting. And that made them tap their leader to save it. Now we're swinging 6 more into Kairos. And now we're swinging 7 into Kairos. Wow, so we're going all out into the Kairos here. This is a very interesting play. Honestly, I would just ignore the card. I would actually just fully ignore the Kairos on the board, and I would have swung 6 at face with the, 5 at face with the Brook, and then 6 at face with the green Uta, and sit behind 2 blockers and just dare them to do whatever they want to do here. They let it go. Wow, very interesting. So, again, we know they have a Cordy Coliseum in their hand. Okay, 9 into 7. I would save this. There is no way I would let this card go because we can draw cards all day. Yep. I hope they choose to sit. Beautiful. Absolutely agree with that decision. So, they're going to go and play out the 7 cost Luffy. Okay, that is annoying. This is why I was saying we should definitely keep the we got punished bad there. This is why we should have kept the blockers up. I do agree with saving your guy there, but this is where I would have kept my blockers alive, or active, rather. 10 into 7, they're going to get that. Because, again, who cares if they have a Kairos, right? That's my my take on it. Okay, we can easily pop it, though. But do we want to? I would probably swing 7 into it with the Uta first to see if they want to save it. Okay, we're going to draw a card there. Yeah, the game's not over. Even though we got punished really badly there, and we will be coming back to that play at the end of the this lab. We still, we're still easily in this game. Okay, so their guy is tapped there. We do have a 1K counter in hand, and we have a blocker this time, which is really important. Okay, they just chose to excuse me, I thought they played Houndblades. I didn't know what was going on. They revealed they used their leader effect to do a top 2 search. They drew a Rebecca, OP05 Rebecca, so it should be the blocker. And then the Houndblades was the other card that goes to trash. Whew. All right, -4. So they're going to Hina, -4 here. That's why we just cannot worry about Kairos, by the way. They can keep bringing it back with Rebecca over and over and over again. Okay, so they got rid of that. It would be nice to get rid of this 7 cost Luffy here. It would be really nice, but we might not be able to. I would probably... Okay, so I was going to... It wouldn't have mattered either way because we saw the top 3 cards. But I was going to say I would just swing for 6 at face right here with your leader to draw a card. Because if you would have potentially drawn a 9 cost Shanks, you could have just popped the Luffy and got him off the board that way. Not a big deal, though, either way. Okay, so we do have 6 Dawn left. We're going to swing in 8 into 7. I like that. I would have probably gone... Okay, they 2K counter out. They're going to use the Shanks for the rest. We could have also gone 8 more into it with the Brook if we wanted to and drop them down to 3 cards. So they would go to 4 for the turn, of course. But if we were really trying to get rid of that Luffy, I think we probably could have. I don't think playing the Nami was the right... Let me talk about that real quick. Whoops. Let me go back real quick, guys. I want to show y'all what I would have done on this turn. So right here, what I would have done first is I would have swung 6 into face with Uta, with the leader, seeing if I draw a Shanks off the top. Now, notice what it would have been. It would have just been a 2K counter. Okay, oh well, right? Then we swing 11 into the Luffy, which they're going to let go. We know they're going to let it go, right? Excuse me, they're going to use the Rebecca. They're going to let the Rebecca go. And then we could swing the rest with Brook into the Luffy to get rid of it while still playing out a 3-cost blocker instead of the Nami. Okay, so that's what I would have done. Not a big deal, though. They get around it. We get down a blocker. We stand up our Shanks. Shanks is not safe, though, from the Luffy, but it is still nice to stand him up because we do have 1 blocker to protect him. They're going to reveal a 1-legged toy soldier with the leader search. And let's see what happens here. Yep, they're going to go big into that guy. We're going to block once. They're going to stand it up. And now we can 2K, 1K to get out of that. And I probably would. I probably would get out of this. The 13, we can go 2K, 1K. Very nice. And they play out a Bartolomeo. They have a blocker. Very nice. There's the Shanks I was saying we could get. Very, very good. We'll swing 6. We'll smash that. I would swing. I would. I guess we're scared about losing a character here. Yeah, I don't know if I would be. I don't know if I would be because we have another Shanks on the board. We can't be too shy here. We'll swing 5, and I think we should just go in for 6 right here. They'll probably, yeah, and then they'll probably block that one. Okay, very good. Now, they can technically take out the entire board here, and they probably will. But hey, that's okay. That is okay. Let's see how much they want to commit to taking out this Shanks. They would have to put 7 on that Kobe to even be able to contest this Shanks. And we have another one. And we just have another one. And every turn, we're going to draw a card. Like, that's the nice part about Green Uta, is we're going to draw a card every single turn. Yeah, look at the card that's in the trash real quick, guys. Take a look at the card that was in their trash. This is a great combo with Rebecca. His name is Aramaki. 8 cost, 8,000 power blocker. Activate main once per turn. Discard 1 card from your hand and return 1 cost 2 or lower character to the bottom of its owner's deck. This character gains plus 3,000 power for this turn. He is a massive blocker, and he can go offensive just as easily. Very powerful card in Rebecca. It is Navy, though. It is not Dressrosa. They fully committed. Wow, okay, they fully committed. They took that out. So right here, we're not really in any rush, right? I don't think we're really in any kind of rush here. Again, I hope we just fully ignore. Please just fully ignore this Kairos. The card just doesn't matter. Let them swing with it all game. We want them to swing the Kairos at our face. Okay? We'll see what happens here. Are we going to pop maybe the Hina? Maybe we're going to... Yeah, I like playing this. I mean, I would just swing first, though, for sure. Nice. We draw a card. It's a 2K counter. We have 2 2K counters in hand. I would have swung for 11 with Shanks and dropped them down to 0. Or, excuse me, down to 0. Okay? That is what I would have done right there. We have a blocker. We have 4K counter in hand. We can get out of a 14K attack with what's in our hand. Or 2 11Ks, like whatever, it doesn't matter. But right here, it looks like they're going to try to get rid of this. They do. Now, do they have a blocker? If they don't have a blocker, we can just go swing 13, swing 13. Okay, they're going to okay, they gave up. So let's see what was in their hand real quick. Right here. Hang on 1 second, guys. We're going to pause it right when they pass. They said GG. So they did say GG, the Rebecca player did, and they left. Good sportsmanship. Yeah, they don't have a blocker, right? So that's the issue. And that's why I would have... Now, I will say this. If we'd have swung last turn, they'd have got a blocker. But remember, we'd be able to save our Shanks because they couldn't even put enough on one character to KO our Shanks, right? But let me just say this. In this situation right here, it's over because even though they have 2, 4, 6K in hand, they can get out of 1 11K attack. They're constantly on the back foot, right? So if we go swing 13, like I was saying, they can't get out of it. Now, real quick, there was a turn earlier on we do have to discuss. I think we were playing this game perfectly up to this point. This right here, excellent. Absolutely love this play right here. They we block that attack there. They play out the Rebecca. They play out the miniature Rebecca. They whiff. They get a Hina. We know they have Hina in hand. Now, right here, this turn right here is where I would have done things differently. I would have played out the 9 calls to Zoro. That part's correct. Attach a Dawn to your leader. That was perfect. And right, that though is the problem right there. I just don't understand why we're going for the Kairos. We actually want them to have a Kairos, right? So the way that this matchup works for Blue-Black Rebecca, notice we won this game with 5 cards in our life, right? We had 5. I think we had all 5 life, right? Yeah, we had all, I'm looking down at the bottom on the time thing. We had all 5 life when this game ended. Look, this is the end of the game, right? We had 5 life. So we actually want them to have that Kairos. We want them to have that. Right here, though, I agree. Attach a Dawn to the leader. Now, go 5 at face with the Brook first, and then 6 at face with the Uta. They can have the 2 cost, or the 1 cost 2K Rebecca. They can have that card, right? And they can have the Kairos. We want that on the board. Because if it's on the board, they can't pull from their trash. Now, yes, if they have more in their trash, they can pull those out, but now they're eating up their own spaces on the board. Be my guest, right? That's completely fine. And then after that, look how, then we got a little too aggressive. So let me hit play real quick. Okay. Then we swung 5, we swung 6. We were fully committed to taking out this Kairos, and we tapped out all of our blockers. Right here, I would not have tapped any of my blockers. I would have just swung the 5 at face, swing the 6 at face. Now he gets to attack into our guy. It's like, okay, and we decided to save it, and I do think that was the right call to save it, by the way. I think that was absolutely the way to go with that. But watch this. They play out the Corda Coliseum. They play out the Luffy. They gave him plus 3,000 with a Hound Blaze, and they go 10 into this guy. We lose it. We could have just blocked, right? We could have just completely blocked there, and we would have been completely fine. And then on the crackback, we have a 9K coming in like 3 times, right, with the Zoro. So that was one thing I did want to mention. Let me see what else. Right here, we got rid of some things. I think that was the main thing, actually. There were a few things we could have talked about, but overall, Yeah, right here. I like that. Oh, it was this turn. So this turn right here, what I would have done is I would have swung for 6 with the, excuse me. I would swing, yeah, no, that is correct. I would swing for 6 with the leader at face. Draw a card. If it's a Shanks, we have an easy KO on the Luffy. Otherwise, okay, now we don't. Well, then we're going to have to swing for 9. I would swing for 9 at the Luffy with Brook, which would be, what was that? That would be 4 Dawn. And then it was 5 Dawn for the turn so far because we had to put 1 on Uta. We'd still have 5 Dawn left. Actually, so excuse me, I would swing 11 and 11 at him because then we could still put the 3 Dawn into our blocker follow-up turn there. And that's about it, guys. Really good game, though. That was an awesome submission. Really good stuff with that one. That was a very enjoyable, very educational game. All right. So let's go ahead and hop into this topic of the day, guys. We have to talk about using a hypergeometric calculator. What on earth is that? We're going to get into it, but first things first, we do have to check out this really cool website, which has the calculator on it. So we're on gumgum.gg. I'm actually going to remove this first so you guys can fully see the site. Notice at the top left here, it says gumgum.gg. That is the website, okay? It's not .com, it's not .net, it's .gg. So I will link that in the comment section, or yeah, down in the comment section for anyone who wants to check this out. It has a lot of really cool tools, guys. And look at this. It has the East for OP0, 8, and 9, and the West for OP0, 8, and OP0, 8.5. So I think the site is pretty new. And I think it does focus more on the East, which I'm not upset about. But check this out. So they have 1,300 decks for OP09 from the East, 1,200 from OP08 in the East. In the West for OP0, 8.5, they have 65. And notice this, guys, it does have like the decks that are doing very well. It's got the author by it, the place it got, the amount of players, the location. Very well done site. And then 480 decks from OP08 from the West. And let's just check this out real quick, guys. Like if you're interested in, you know, seeing how a deck's doing, like, okay, I want to see how this Enel deck is, right? Let's see how well this Enel deck did. Here's the list right here. It's got all kinds of features on here. Look, trigger 5k plus bodies. Here's the probability here, the cost curve, the power curve. It goes over the types, the attribute. It even goes over the attributes, guys, the keywords for on plays and things like that. It's got a little bit of everything, guys. Let me look what it looks like for like a different color deck. Does it still have? Okay, it just removes the chance for the trigger bodies at the front here because it doesn't have any in this deck. Okay, well, sort of, right? It has, well, I guess not trigger bodies, but in the case of like Who's Who, it has like a KO. A trigger, I should say, but it does count down here. Oh, this deck has 14 triggers. Really, really nice feature. This seems, guys, I've gone over the site a little bit. It's got a lot of awesome features and it looks pretty. It looks like a very promising site. As you know, hopefully as it keeps growing, it gets bigger and better. So that's the front page here. We're going to head over. It does have a market watch. I have not gone through this completely, but just know it has a lot of cool stuff going on here in the market watch. You can check out how things are going. You know, the price on these. It has 2 different prices under these. One is probably for the alt art, and then the bottom one's probably for the base rarity. I'm just guessing. I have absolutely no idea, guys. So that's very cool. It has a market watch. And then for the tools, here's what we're here for, right? The hyper geometric calculator. But it also has a deck builder feature. Look at this. Really looks pretty clean, guys. Looks pretty well done. It's got it's got the L right here for leader. And then if you scroll down, it's got the 0 cost, 1 cost. It goes in color order first, and it goes by color and cost, right? So it's got the cost first. Leaders don't cost anything, right? They're just in play. So that comes first, and they go in color order, and then the 0 cost stuff in color order, and then all the way down. Here's 1 cost, and then it'll go down to the 2 cost, right? And it's got these little purple lines separating them. Let me get to the purple, or excuse me, to the number 2. And notice this, here's where it starts all the 2 cost cards. And it's got these 4 dots under each one. You click on the 4, you get 4 of them. I'll click on 2, I want 2 of this guy, 3 of this guy. Really well made, like I said. And of course, there's all this stuff up here you can sort by however you want to at the very top. Now, okay, back to what we were here for. I just want to show you guys this real quick because I thought this was a really awesome site. They're also working on a sealed sim. I tried this earlier before I did the video, or before I did this part of the video, you know what I mean? And like, it was not working. Okay, it is working now. So I guess maybe sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. But whatever the case is, look at this. It just gives you random cards, and it looks like they only have OP07, and I think it was OP06 for the... Oh, here it is. Yeah, they only have OP07 and OP06 available currently. but I think this is a really cool feature, and hopefully they can update it to 08 and 09 and 10 going forward. Now, anyway, let's focus back into the topic of the day. Let me bring this back up, this back up. We're going to be talking about hypergeometric calculators. This is it's like a nerd's dream tool, right? A deck building nerd's dream tool. So what is a hypergeometric calculator? And look at this. They even have an explanation here. You'll love to see that, because I thought I was going to have to embarrass myself with like the clumsiest definition you've ever heard. But here's what it says. I'm just going to read word for word here, guys. We are using the hypergeometric equation to calculate the likelihood of drawing specific cards from a one-piece TCG deck. This formula accounts for the fact that each draw reduces the size of the deck by 1, causing the probability of drawing subsequent cards to change dynamically with each draw. Now, this goes by, I'm not going to read all this. You guys can check this out if you want to later, but here's what it goes by. There are 50 cards in your deck, right? Okay, so here's the amount of cards in the deck. Cards seen, so that's like your opening hand, right? It could be 5, and it even says if you're going second, you should consider 6, right? Because you're drawing first. Hits, how many cards can you hit that you're looking for? It gives a Moria example, but I think an even better example might be like a searcher. Like, are you looking for a one-cost searcher? Like in the case of red-green Law, there's like 3 different searches you might be looking for, right? It might be Dedan, it might be Nami, it might be Bonnie. Okay, and then you want at least one of those cards in your starting hand, or in your hand. That's how this whole thing works, right? So let's break it down. So if there are 50 cards in your deck, and you're going first, you're going to see 5 cards in your opening hand, and there are 4 cards you want to hit. Let's just say there's 4 searchers in your deck. Let's use the Revo Army. Let's use Revo Army as an example, because I'm going to use that because it does matter, especially when we go into like trying to find the top 3 cards to play in the case of 5-cost Ivankov. Okay, so for this example, let's say we want to hit in our opening hand a Bello Betty. Well, we're going to run all 4 Searcher Bello Bettys, right? In this situation, we only want to see we want to see at least one in our opening hand in a 50-card deck, 5-card scene. So our drawing 1 or more of this card, the hit chance is 35%. Is 35%. So that is over 33%, right? So it's over 1/3% chance, or over 1/3. I'm completely messing this up. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. You have a little better than a 1 in 3 chance to see it, okay? That's pretty good, right? You have a 35% chance to see this card in your opening hand. Well, here's the thing with me. When I'm doing my searches for the Revo Army version, whether I'm playing Bello Betty or whether I'm playing Red Yellow Sabo, I want to know a few things. With Red Yellow Sabo, I want either Bello Betty or the 5-cost Ivankov in my opening hand. So in this situation, there are 50 cards in my deck. I'm going to see 5 cards in my opening hand, and there are 8 hits that I can hit, okay? And then I want to see at least one of them. So in this situation here, I have pretty much a 60% chance of seeing what I want to see in there. Now, in the case of Bello Betty, it's probably not much different, but in their opening hand, they want to see, typically speaking, they'll want to see at least one Bello Betty or one of the 1-cost Raise Max, right? They want a 1-drop, right? Bello Betty wants a 1-drop, and I think sometimes they're running 2 of the 1-drops and 4 of the Bello Bettys. Well, that ends up being about a 50% chance to see that in your opening hand. So what that means is after mulliganing, like say you didn't see it in your opening hand, in a mulligan, you should see one of those 1-drop cards in there, so you have a good start no matter what, going first or second. Now let's talk about going second. So if there are 4 cards that we need to see, let's just say it's 4 Bello Bettys or 4 Gecko Morias, like the example they use in this actual, on the site, and we're going second. Well, we go from a 35.3% chance of seeing one up to a 41% chance. Now, let's use one more example real quick. I'm going to go to here, and I want to use the example of Ivankov. Okay, we got Big Blurple Bob on here. That's the deck we're going to be checking out today. I came up with some crazy random name. Let's go to Big Bad Bello Betty instead. Okay, I know y'all just love these crazy names. Bad Bello Betty, that's her name. Okay, so in this situation here, let's take a look at how many options we have to hit with Emporio Ivankov. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about it because it's not that easy to just say, oh, what are we going to hit? Because how many cards have we drawn? How many cards have we seen? Where are we in the game? right? So let's talk about this. So in this example right here, I need to use my, we're going to have to use the notepad. So let's go ahead and bring the notepad over. Here's my little script for the day, guys. So in this situation here, we have 4 Ivankovs, right? In this example, Ivankov. Okay, let me go down some. So how many targets do we have in the entire deck to hit with Ivankov? So it can only, so Ivankov can only hit a 4-cost, or excuse me, a 5,000 power or less Revo army character. Okay, so we have Inazuma, Ivankov, the 4-cost 5K, Karasu, Koala, and I mean any target, by the way. I want to see any target. But actually, we'll be more specific than that. We'll be even more specific because I specifically want to see like a 4,000 to 5,000 power character realistically. But it's not that the Velobetty, the Koala, and the Kuma are bad, but there's something I'm going for specifically in this list, right? So we have 3, plus 4 is 7, plus 4 is 11, plus 4 is 15, plus 4 is 19, plus 3 is 22. So we have 22 actual targets I'm trying to go for, and then we'll just add the other 12, right? You know, plus 12 for the complete array of possible targets in the deck. Now let's go. Now we're gonna bring that over. Let's go to the calculator again. So now let's just say in this situation. So remember here, I can't really keep them both on the screen at the same time, but so with our Ivankov, let's say we play out an Ivankov, and let's just say. So we already have 5 cards in our hand, right? And we will, by turn 2, let's just say we go first and everything. So we have 5 cards in hand, and we'll have 2 more cards in hand from drawing for the turn, okay? Like going, because we want to play out the Ivankov right on turn 3. So going first, we'll have 1 Dawn. Going, and then turn 2, we'll have 3 Dawn, we'll draw a card. And then on 5 Dawn, we'll draw another card, and we'll play out the Ivankov. So we have 4 cards in our life, 5 cards in our hand, that's 9, plus 2 cards we've drawn. So we've gone through 11 cards. So we only actually have 39 cards now that we can go through, right? There's only 39 cards left in our entire deck, okay, that we can actually hit concerning this. Now, we don't know what's in our life. Let's say that one of those cards in our life is a card that we wanted to hit, right? Okay, so now we have to go down, in this example, say we have to go down to 21 possible targets we can hit. Then let's just say we have 2 targets in hand that we can't hit. Okay, well now we're down to 19 possible hits. And then last but not least, let's just say, well, no, let's say there's more than that. Let's say there were 3 targets in our hand that we can't hit. Whoops. So it would be -4 altogether from 22. Let's just call it 18. Sorry if this is a little confusing, guys. Just bear with me. So let's just say there's 18 more possible targets in our deck that we can see. Well, here's where it gets complicated, right? So cards seen, let's not worry. We're going to see 3, right? It's going to be 3 cards we're going to get to see, and the amount of possible hits was 18 in this example. Well, look at this, guys. We would still have, so say there's only 39 cards left in our deck. We can only look at 3 cards for the Emporio Ivankov's effect, right? When you play it, you look at the top 3 cards, and there are only 18 possible targets we can hit still in the deck. Well, we still have about an 85% chance to see at least 1 card be a legal target in the deck, right? Now, if we go up from there, let's add in the rest. So let's say we add 12 to that, we'll go to 30, right? For every possible target in the deck, including the cards that we don't really want to see, but we'd be happy with seeing. In fact, let's say we've seen 3 of those cards as well. So only +9. So that gives us 27, right? So we have an 85% chance of hitting a card we really want to see, but then let's just go to 27 of possible hits. We have like a 98% chance of not whiffing it completely. So getting like a little 1-cost Velobetty, or a 2-cost Koala, or 2-cost Kuma. So hopefully that made sense, guys. I know that was a little bit clumsy, just bear with me. But guys, this is a great tool that you can use. So for example, let's just go back to like a normal like 50 card deck. We're going to see 5 cards in our opening hand, and let's just say it's going to be 4 hits like normal. We want to see at least 1. So if we're making a deck, and someone might be saying like, well, how much of a type of a card do you want to run, and you're doing like a top 4 searcher? Well, let's do some math on that. So again, if we're playing him on turn 1, so let's just say we're doing a searcher. So we're down to 40 cards in our deck. Let's say we're running, let's see, a 4 card. So let's say we're running Katakuri, okay? We're running Katakuri. We're going to have 5 cards in our hand. We're going to have 5 cards in our life. right? So we have 40 cards left in the deck, and let's say we go first. And we are going to do a top 4 search, and let's just say we want, and we're going to see number of hits we can have. Let's just say we're going to have 25 cards in the deck that are Big Mom searchable, right? So 25, okay? So in a 40-card deck, when we look at 4 cards and we have 25, I typed in 24 apparently, and there are 24 cards we can hit, well, we have a 98% chance of not whiffing that search, right? Actually, hang on, is it going to be less than that? Because we could have some of the cards in our hand. So let's just say we drew, say there were 25 cards we wanted to hit, but let's say we have 5 in our hand. Let's drop it down to 20. Well, not 220, not 220. The chances start going down, right? Because you're doing a top 4 search and you see at least one, but the chances are still very high because that's half the deck, right? So half the deck is still what we're looking for. But now let's try to get really greedy with it. Let's just say we're looking at a, let's say we have a deck of 50 cards. Okay, there are 40 cards. You know, I could have, no, see, it changes everything. I know we're getting really technical, guys. It all depends on what's in your hand when you're trying to justify these searches. You know, if you make it basic like this, like, oh, 50 cards, look at the top, we're gonna have a 5-card hand, and there's 4 hits we need to find for our searcher. That makes it very easy. But when we're trying to like calculate how many cards we need to have in our deck to have a good searcher probability, that's when it becomes, you know, very technical. So let's do a very specific, precise example. So let's say we have 40 cards left in our deck. We're playing Katakuri, so we have 5 cards in our opening hand. We have 5 cards in our life. And then the cards that we see are going to be 5, right? Like we were just saying. Actually, excuse me, it's going to be 4 because we're using we're going to be using the pudding as our searcher, and the number of hits we have are 4. So let's say we're searching for a 10-cost Charlotte Lin. We have 40 cards left in the deck, and our what's her name? Our pudding is going to do a top 4 search. I say 40 cards left in the deck because remember 5 are in our life, and those we can't even search for, right? So that's what makes it really complicated. But the cards we're going to look at are 4, and the number of hits we can have are 4. However, let's assume one of those cards is in our life. Well, now all of a sudden our search goes down under 30%. You see what I'm saying? And that's where it gets very tricky. It's like, okay, how do we calculate for that? Like I'm specifically looking for a 10-cost Lin. And let's say we've gone through, let's say there's only like 35 cards left in the deck. We're going to do a top 4 search with a pudding again. And the number of hits we can have is maybe 3. Like say 1 is in our life. And then we're going to do a top 4 search and there's only 3 possible targets we can hit. Well, that's still not too bad, right? If we have a 30% chance of seeing the card we need, right? With a top 4 search and there are 3 possible targets in the deck we can hit out of 35 cards left. Because again, let's say there were 4 in the deck, but 1's in our life we don't know about it. Well, that still ends up being like a 31% chance we can hit it. Okay, hopefully that made sense, guys. I know it's a little bit clumsy. I'm not saying this was like perfect examples or anything, but just some ideas there on how nice this tool is. The best part about this, everything I just said was completely, totally like hypotheticals, right? However, the best way to use this is the opening hand example like this right here. If you want to see a specific card in your hand, and it's a 50-card deck, you're going to see 5 cards in your opening hand, and there's 4 copies of a card you can see. Well, here it is. However, if you're trying to do testing, you can start being very, very specific with what you search up. Like, let's just say, let's do one more super specific example here, and we'll move on. But let's say there are only 35 cards left in your deck. And whatever the situation is you're going to see a top 3 search. You're going to use a top 3 searcher like Ivankov, and the only amount of hits that are left possible in your deck, like let's say you specifically need Karasu, right? Let's just say you specifically need Karasu. 1's already been KO'd for the turn, and you know there's only like 3 left in the deck. Well, look at this. When you do a top 3 search with 35 cards left in the deck, it's still going to be, it says it's a 24% chance, which is a pretty good chance if you think about it, if I'm doing this correctly. But still, that's a pretty, it's still a 75% chance you're going to whiff the search, right? But still, I mean, let's just say 22% chance is like more realistic, right? For having 1, but you see how it is if you see 2 or 3, it's almost a 0% chance you see 3, right? That's like probably a 0.001% chance you see all 3 of them. but a 1.5% chance you see both of them, but it's a 22% chance you might see one of them in a top 3 search when there's only 35 cards left. But here's where it gets really tricky. In the examples I've been using, say you have one of these cards in your life and you don't know that. So say you've lost one Karasu for this turn and one's in your life. Say it's your last life card and you didn't know that. You have no way of knowing. And guess what? So now there's only 2 hits when you thought there were 3. Now your chances are only 16% to see it. You see what I mean? It gets very technical, and the fact that we don't always know our life cards makes it very hard to know. But yeah, anyway, so that's a cool tool to use, guys. Use it at your disposal here. Check it out if you haven't already. Check out this site if you have not already, guys. Gumgum.gg. Really cool stuff here. All right, let's move on. I'm sure I butchered that a little bit. You guys be nice to me. Let's chill out in the comment section. Don't be too crazy. I was just trying to give a brief example on how it works and the logic behind using one. And it's really nice when you're trying to figure out how many of a card you want in your deck, right? Like when you're doing your searches. Because it does, we gotta give one more example. It doesn't always have to be as specific as I said. Like, let's just say you have a top 4 search. Well, then, okay, well, if that's the case, I always want to have, like, roughly speaking, like, say the average stays the same. Like, there are, let's just say there's 20 cards I want to hit. Well, okay, I'm going to have a 93% chance, or, and use the example however you need to, adjust it and modify it however you need. Okay, now, we're done talking about that. Let's go over to the game, the games on the sim here. We got 3 games on the sim to go over of, whoops, there we go, of Blurple Kaido. Okay, these should be pretty fun. First game up here, these are not meant to be super competitive, guys. This leader's not considered the most competitive, and I'm not trying to break this leader or anything. I'm just trying to have fun with it. So the first game up here, we have a game of Blurple Kaido versus Blue-Black Sakazuki. Okay, this should be a lot of fun. The volume is off. I did put the speed on 2x, right? Yeah, speed's on 2x, and here we go. We mulligan back our first hand here, and we're going to play out a who's who. This guy, man, playing out Blue-Black Sakazuki. What a madman. What an absolute mad lad. We're going to go turn 2 stage. That is an ideal start going first, of course. They're going to swing for 8 into 5 here. We're going to take it. We're going to ramp a Dawn immediately so I don't forget. Play out the Queen, going back down to 6 Dawn for the turn. We have to trash a card from hand. We'll trash the Who's Who. I don't think we need the Searcher here, and we'll swing for 6. I guess I could have used the Searcher there, but I didn't want to get rid of any other card in my hand. That was kind of the logic there. Okay, they play out Nice Age. They pop my guy by playing Rebecca, cheating out the Brook. We're going to 2K counter out. I don't want to go too low. We're up to 8 Dawn. We're just going to ramp a Dawn immediately so I don't forget. We're going to swing 6 into there. They give me a blocker. Okay, so that gives me what I need for the turn. I ramp another Dawn. And so now we're going to swing 5 into 4. They 2K counter out. We're going to play out a blocker. We're going to push this card all the way. I think we're going to push it all the way to the second from the top, the Kaido. Because next turn, I actually just want to play out the 10-cost Kaido or the 9-cost Kaido and just push some stuff out of the way. I can't play out the 10-cost Kaido next turn because I won't be able to draw because they have to have 3 or less cards in their life to get a draw. Okay, let's see what they choose to do here. They attacked my Who's Who. They can have that thing. That thing did its job. They're going to play out the Gecko Moria, and they're going to -2 to my guy. I don't think they can get rid of this, though. They did a -2 to my X-Drake. They're going to swing for 5. I'm going to block it. Seems good. Okay, now, I have to think a little bit about this, but I think the play is going to be play out the 10-cost Kaido, bounce back the Gecko, bounce back the Brook, and then it's going to be their turn, and I'll just swing 5 at face. But it sets them so far back, right? So they end up just leaving. They did quit way prematurely, super prematurely, but that's okay. Not a big deal. This is not considered a meta deck. Neither of these decks are meta, right? Neither of these are meta. But I do understand the frustration because if they play it out again, well, now I have all these big attacks coming in. They're just in so much trouble. And then if they choose to go really crazy and fill up the board with some incredible play with Gecko Moria plus whatever else, you guys see what my next card was, right? I said it. It was a 10-cost Kaido. So I could literally just smash everything into the board and just blast everything with the 10-cost Kaido if I even needed to. Or the other option would be play out the 9-cost Kaido and keep going that way. Guys, it was a really bad position for my opponent to be in. Okay, next game. So that was versus Sakazuki. Now we got a game versus Enel. Okay, this is a little more meta of a matchup. And honestly, guys, so this is a pretty long game. I'll try not to pause it at all. But Blurple Kaido's probably actually decent into Enel. I'm not saying it's great, but I think it's actually decent into Enel because you're just going really big. Enel's usually not in a rush to rush you down. And the version that I'm running is like all blockers and all big characters. That's it. A few in between utility cards, but it's just all blockers and all utility. Or excuse me, and all bosses. They swing for 9. We're going to take that. I play out the ulti. I don't really even care about the card, to be honest. I'm just trying to get a card on the board. So we play out the queen here, draw 2, trash 1. This was a tough call. I don't want to get rid of any of my top end cards if I can help it. Only if I absolutely have to. But we're going to play out the queen. We swing for 5 there. They did give us a... did they take? I think they might have taken it because they're down to 3 life. They're going to play out the Luffy here. Now, remember, they can't use Luffy because they're at 3 life, right? Luffy, you have to be at 2 life or less. So I swing for 6 here. They make a blunder for sure. They 2k counter out. It's like, okay, your turn. But I don't think it's going to matter too much. I'll explain over the course of the game here. So so they should have taken that hit to go down to 2 life, so they turn their Luffy. And they do make a play mistake this turn, but it's really not a big deal. So they're going to swing for 7. This part doesn't change. I would just block and 2k counter. Okay, block. And actually, I think I just let it go. Because I only had 2 2k counters in hand. I wanted to save those. He uses that. He should have used it to pop the ulti there. He pops my X-Drake with the Nami. But it's really not a big deal, like I said, because I'm not going to... I think he ends up KOing the ulti before I can even use it. Okay, so here we go. So now I'm going to play out a queen. Draw 2, trash 1. And what am I going to get rid of here? I almost got... I don't know what I get rid of. Yeah, I get rid of a 2k counter. Because I don't want to get rid of my top end at all. Like, period. None of it. Because I need every single bit of that top end in order to compete against the Enel player's top end. And I need every one of these blockers to act as a free life card every single turn. They play out a Yamato. This is why I was trying to get their life down to 2 as fast as I could and keep my life low as well. 2k counter out of that. So here we go. I think I'm going to attach a Dawn to the Kaido here. Well, hopefully I don't do that first. Very good. Attach a Dawn to your leader first, then play out the Kaido, returning 5, because you get to ramp a Dawn with the leader's effect immediately. Now I'm back up to 7 right away. Now in this situation here, I do not attack because they're at 2 life. Once they're at 2 life, you don't really attack unless you absolutely have to. If I was at 3 life, I would consider it so they couldn't pop my queen with another Yamato. They're going to swing for 10. I'm going to go down to 1 life. That's kind of where I want to be at. I'm trying to tempt him into swinging with that Yamato. Like, please swing with your Yamato. Because if he swings with Yamato, I am going to eat that thing up, right? We're going to smash into it with our Kaido. Ramp a Dawn before I forget. We'll play out the queen here, I think. Return a Dawn. We'll trash a card here. This is a tough one. I think I might have to get rid of the 9-cost Kaido in this situation. Because I do have the 10-cost Kaido to replace it with. That did not feel good, by the way. That definitely did not feel good there. So right here, I am actually tempted to swing into him, and I do swing into him here because I want to start getting cards from his hand. He takes it. I'm like, okay. He takes it. Very good. So now I'm going to swing for 7. I want him to give me the blocker. I really want him to give me the blocker here. He does a 2k, 1k. I have to pass turn now. Because if I swing in now, he just takes it because he had 1 life, and then he can cycle a card. He uses a Raigo. He pops my my Kaido there. He's going to swing 9 into 6. I think I'm going to save it with a Blast Breath. And now he can swing 9 more into it with the Yamato, but that's okay. That's not really a big deal. He chooses not to, which is probably smart because I would have just smashed into him there. But right here, he's down to he is down to 1 life. Let's see what happens here. We're going to swing for 5, I think. Yeah, we'll swing for 5. He does have to respect the small attack because then I could go 9-9 with the queens and get him down to 0 life. He gives me a 2k. Okay, well, that's pretty much all I wanted. I think, so right here, I think I block her up. I think I just block her up right here. Draw 2, trash 1. I'll trash one of the 10-cost Kaidos because I have 2 of them. Ramp the Dawn back. Play out the other blocker Kaido. I think it would have been kind of smart to play out the X-Strike, though, too. The Kaido. I play out the X-Strike blocker, but I could have played out the X-Strike 2k counter to make him trash card from hand. He swings for 5. I'm like, okay, block, because I expect him to play down a 10-cost ace here and swing for 10. Okay, I think I should just block. Yeah, just let him have it. Yep. I'm mousing over. I'm like, yep. That's definitely the play, by the way, guys. That's 100% the play. Okay, so I'm going to drop Kaido here because I can get two 9 cost and 10. I can get a 9 cost and 10 cost character with it, so I am going to push in here pretty aggressively. I'm going to swing 5, swing 6. I want him to give me cards here. Now I am going to go ahead and play out the Kaido since he gave me a card that I wanted. We're going to return stuff, and I go back up to 5 Dawn after all that. I clear his board. I'm at 1 life, guys. He hits me with another Rygo. He's hitting me for 9 when I have 1 life left. I really don't want to go down to 0, but I have to. I could have thrown away 3 counters right there, but would that have been smart? I don't think so. I do not think that would have been smart. Okay, so I think I'm going to fill the board out a little bit here. I'm going to play out the blocker. That's a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter blocker, Black Maria. And then I play out the ulti. Your turn. Do not swing in this situation because they'll just cycle a card and get a potential trigger. Their turn. I do have an ulti. Ulti is actually very good because it can bottom deck that tiny Shirahoshi, the little 2 cost Shirahoshi, where they won't gain a life from it because I believe that's an on KO effect. Swinging 7 into 5 here. I do give them a double 2k counter because they gave me a life, and I do like that quite a bit. I'm a pretty big fan of that. Right here, we're dropping down the big boy. We drew 4 cards. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. I can't do math. 2, 4, 6. Now I'm moving things. I think I have like just enough to get out of a 15k attack if he were to choose to go all in. Right, so I'll be able to get out of one of these attacks. Okay, swing for 10. I counter out aggressively because I wanted him. I probably should have taken that to get him to swing in with the Katakuri, but better safe than sorry. I'd rather not risk anything right now. Now right here I can. Another option would have been to just bounce the Katakuri back to hand. Like say, hey, you can have the Katakuri back, I guess. But here we go. We're going to swing for 12, get him down to 0. Let's see what he gets. No trigger. Okay, so we're going to play this guy out. I'm just looking for blockers or 2k counters. We get a blocker. Set this up. Okay, we're going to do it like that. I probably could have done the X-Drake first, to be honest, and that would have been a little bit safer. But here we go. I'm passing. I have a blocker and 1 life. He has 3 attacks. Let's see what he does here. I kind of think I should block this, to be honest, because I have double blast breath, right? Like it's just not going to be a big deal. So I'll 1k counter out. I really feel like I should block this. I don't remember if I do or not, because if he wants to swing 8 into my body there, if he wants to swing for 5 into my blocker, be my guest. Absolutely be my guest here. However, it looks like I'm playing more aggressively. I might be going for lethal next turn. So right here, we're going to go plus 4. He's going to play this guy out. He's going to swing for 10. We're going to have to block and give him the counter. Okay. Actually, excuse me, we had another blast breath. Who am I kidding? Okay, now we can actually go for lethal. Here we go, guys. I have not been drawing this game out on purpose. I'm just trying to win. And I said, you know what? If he's got the triggers right here, he's got the triggers. I could have gone for the board for sure. However, it's like, you know what? We're just going all in. Swing 12. Swing 12. If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. No trigger. Seems good. GG. That was a really fun game, right? That was a good one. We got one more game versus BLaffy, ST14. I think it's ST14, Black Luffy. Speed, 2x. Here we go. All right. So this is, this is a tough matchup for sure. This is a tough matchup for sure. Any kind of deck running black right now with all the removal is going to be a tough matchup. Now, this is running a Dressrosa variant. As you can see, they have a Rebecca on the board, a 7-cost Luffy in the trash. So it is a little bit tough, but hey, we're gonna try and win. Okay, so we had a Who's Who to start the game off. I think we revealed to them a Kaido. We're gonna play out the Onigashima and ramp it on here. They swing for 5. I don't want to go too low in life early. I'll give them a 1k counter, and here we go. I would say preserving life is a very big deal for this deck. We're gonna swing for 6. They give us a 2k counter. We're gonna ramp it on. I think we're gonna play out a Queen here because I'm on an odd number, so in 2 turns I'll be at 10 no matter what. Yep, absolutely. Draw 2, trash 1. We'll trash the ulti. I don't think that's going to be that good against this matchup. The little 3-cost ulti in theory would be good against like the decks that rush and go wide, because it can bottom deck a 2-cost or lower. Okay, we ramp it on up to 9. Let's see what we choose to do here. We're going to swing for 10 into face. Going to swing for 6. the reason I'm swinging with my blocker here is I just don't think my blocker can survive. I don't think my opponent will let a blocker survive. So I'm going to use a Who's Who to search for another blocker. Excuse me. Who's Who to search for a 9 cost Kaido. Setting my top 5 cards. This guy is in oodles of trouble, right? This guy is in a large amount of trouble. Honestly, I think I should just let it go. Okay, I choose not to. I guess my thought is, okay, maybe I won't pop my board this turn. I don't know. I think I should, though. I definitely think I should. Okay, 6 and a 6 here. So I swung 5 and a 6. That just bounced. I swing 6 and a 6 to give me a counter. I'm going to swing 6 more and a 6. Let's see what they choose to do here. And, okay, well, it's been real. We're going to pop the whole board now. Kaido's in town. Your turn. Guys, that 10 cost Kaido, that's one of my favorite cards in the game, I'm not going to lie. Being a control player from, like, Magic the Gathering, I wish there was a board clear in this game so bad. I feel like it would be so good for the game, too. Some people disagree with that, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just think it'd be so good for the game. Okay, well, now it's time to just ramp Dawn every turn and just start bashing in, right? We're just going to start bashing in. We're going to swing for 7. This is probably going through. It does. We're going to swing for 12. Goes through. Let's see if they get any trigger. No trigger. Play out the queen. Return a Dawn. Draw 2, trash 1. We'll trash the other Kaido because we already have one in hand. And now next turn, guys, I'm at 9 Dawn. I'm already back up to 9 Dawn, and it's gonna be a disaster for my opponent. It's gonna be an absolute disaster. He does -5 to my 10 cost Kaido and pops it with the Sanji. He almost messed up there, but he did have a 6 cost character already in play. But don't forget to attach a Dawn to your leader if you don't have one in play. He has 4 Dawn left. Okay, he's going to swing for 9. Well, okay, so that means I'm just going for lethal here, right? So, I mean, I guess I don't have to. But, well, no, excuse me, he has a blocker. What am I talking about? So pop that guy. We're going to swing for 5. I think we're going to swing for 6. I think we're going to swing for 10. Getting 2Ks out, getting a 1K out of his hand, double 1K out of his hand, swing for 10. He's at 0. Now he has to win this turn. I'm not going to let him KO both of these characters, so he has to play blockers or it's just over. Because if he loads up everything to get rid of this Kaido, like if he loads up 3 on Nico Robin, 4 on Sanji, well, that's all he'd be able to do, right? I could get out of both because I have a 2K, a 2K, and a 1K. So there's just pretty much no way to get out of this. But then how does he deal with my my queen, right? He has to get out a blocker while removing my biggest character and be able to get out of my normal attack. So it's just insurmountable. And if I'm not mistaken, this guy ends up saying he swings for 8. Okay, he swings for that here. I'm just going to counter out. Actually, I just let it go. Just kidding, because it doesn't matter. It's just swing 10, swing 12, because I think I only have 7 Dawn. Okay. Oh, he did say GG, by the way. The guy said GG on the side. We're going to swing for 10, and then we're going to swing for 12. Okay, GG. That was a fun one. He had a 2K and a 1K left at hand. Good game. Okay, now let's go ahead and wrap this up. I've been rambling for way too long here. Let's go back to the... You guys ready for the name of this deck that I came up with? It's pretty crazy. Big Blurple Bob. There it is, guys. Here is this deck. We got Blurple Kaido. Let me get rid of these red cards. So this is the list I was recommending. I'll run through real quick and talk about it. So here's the leader. Pause and read this if you don't know what he does. I'm running 4 ultis, 2 10-cost Kaidos, 4 of the 2K counter Sasaki. That's mainly all it is. 4 Who's Who's, 2 ultis, 4 X-Drakes, 2 Kaidos, the blue, 2 of the 10. Okay, there's a lot of Kaidos in here. I'm running both of the different 10-cost blue Kaidos, and then 2 of the purple 10-cost Kaido and 2 of the 9-cost Kaido. So this is like a full-on Kaido dot deck, right? And then 4 of the Black Maria, 4 X-Drake, 4 of the other Black Maria, the 2K counter, 4 of the Queen card, 4 of the Queen blocker, 4 Blast Breath, and 4 of the Stage. And guys, it's a fun deck. It's not meant to be the best deck out there. It's just meant to be a little bit of fun. Okay? You guys tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. I don't know if this deck is really lacking. I don't know what it needs. Who knows? Oh, by the way, some other additions to potentially add to the deck that could make it better. Because right now, this is 100% Animal Kingdom Pirates. We could definitely add some cards to make it better, like Pudding. I think Pudding would be a very strong addition to the deck. Like maybe it's a 2 or 3 of. Maybe drop down 2 of these ulti. Actually, I'm going to be honest. I don't think I used this ulti even one time. If you want, you can just probably, actually, maybe save like 1 or 2 of them in the deck and then go 2 or 3 puddings. That's about it, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. The deck felt strong. Maybe add like 1 or 2 red rocks. Maybe 2 or 3 red rocks to the deck as well would help it out. But the deck felt strong. It felt fun to play. And yeah, this is a fun one. All right, I'm done. Guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys. If you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, or viewing my stuff, you're helping me out big time. Thank you so much. Big shout out to the VV Pirates playmat supporters. I hope you guys are enjoying your playmats. And then last but not least, the VV Pirates Patreon page. Thank you guys so much for donating to the channel and helping me out. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm done. Please do not forget to like, subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comment section below. And yeah, until next time, guys, peace.